climate change. It's one of the most polarizing issues of our time. For some, it's a scientific crisis demanding urgent action. For others, it's a movement that's taken on a life of its own. Some even call it a religion. But what does that mean? Is the climate change movement really comparable to a religion? Let's dive into this provocative question and explore both sides of the debate. To answer this question, we first need to define what makes something a religion. At its core, religion often involves faith, a set of shared beliefs, rituals, moral codes, and a sense of purpose or transcendence. Now let's think about the climate change movement. Does it exhibit any of these traits? Some critics, like EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin, seem to think so. Zeldin's provocative statement calls the movement a religion. But why? Is it just hyperbole, or is there something deeper here? Let's start with the arguments for comparing the climate change movement to a religion. Critics point to several parallels. First, there's the idea of faith. Some argue that climate activists place unwavering trust in scientific projections, even when models involve uncertainty or debate. Second, there are rituals. Think of climate marches, carbon footprint tracking, or even meatless Mondays as acts of devotion. Third, there's a strong moral framework, the belief that humanity has a duty to save the planet, often framed in apocalyptic terms like warnings of an impending climate doomsday. Finally, there's a sense of community and purpose, uniting people globally under a shared mission. Some critics even compare climate leaders to prophets, warning of catastrophe if we don't repent and change our ways. But not everyone agrees with this comparison. Defenders of the climate change movement argue that it's fundamentally rooted in science, not faith. Unlike religion, which often relies on unprovable beliefs, climate science is based on data, evidence, and testable hypotheses. Rituals like marches or carbon tracking, those are practical actions, not acts of worship. And the moral framework? It's not about divine commandments, but about ensuring a livable future for humanity. As for apocalyptic warnings, supporters say these are grounded in real projections, not supernatural prophecy. Perhaps most importantly, the climate movement lacks a central deity or spiritual element, a key feature of most religions. So, is calling it a religion just a rhetorical tactic to undermine its legitimacy? So, is the climate change movement comparable to a religion? It depends on how you look at it. On one hand, its passion, rituals, and moral urgency can feel reminiscent of religious movements. On the other, its grounding in science and lack of spiritual elements set it apart. Perhaps the real question is, does it matter? Labels like religion can shape how we perceive a movement, whether we see it as a noble cause, a dogmatic cult, or something in between. What do you think? Is the climate change movement a religion in disguise, or is it simply a science-driven effort to save our planet? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more thought-provoking discussions.